Welcome to the Real Clear Politics Takeaway for Thursday, November 19th. I'm Andrew Walworth, Chief Content Officer at Real Clear Politics.
And I'm Carl Cannon, Washington Bureau Chief for RCP. Good morning, Andy.
Good morning. Well, Carl, sad day in one way. We did pass the 250,000 person death mark on COVID. What do you make of that, and what do you think we should be doing here?
Well, I was thinking today. So today is November 19th. So it's the anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's Gettysburg Address. And on that morning in Gettysburg, he rode a horse out to the battlefield to look it over. People remarked, how graceful he looked on a horse. They didn't think of him as this graceful, guy. And he delivered that speech, 272 words that told people, why, put meaning into the lives of those the fallen. And a disease like this, how do we give meaning to it? It's just a tragedy, and it happens through history. We had the great pandemic of 1918, took an estimate, 670,000 lives is the estimate, right, in a country that was 1/3 as many people. So you can imagine, Andy. But you like to think we've learned things in the time, and I don't know that we have. Our mutual friend John Sorensen was telling us about his grandmother wrote a letter to her grandchildren from Alabama about 1918 and about how the schools have been closed for a year. And, we seemed reluctant to really face this thing. The good news, of course, is that science is the engines of our scientific discovery are so powerful. It seems that we got a vaccine in, record time. But I just, if we could just stop, if we could sort of keep it down until we get the vaccine, because the people who are sick now, the people who are struggling in hospitals, we're going to look back and say, why did we let this happen?
It does seem like that vaccine is right around the corner, and every day it sounds like good news comes out. It's the one sort of bright part of this story is this sort of private-public partnership that kind of worked, and it looks like Pfizer and these other companies are going to move ahead, and we may have a vaccine in use even before the end of the year. But at the same time, when I talk to people are just exhausted by this at this point, and I don't think anyone anticipated it going on for so long, or for this second wave to be as bad as it looks like it's going to be.
Well, do you remember back in March when they canceled March Madness, and people thought, well, this is unthinkable. How can we not have basketball? Well,
right.
We barely had a baseball season. These football teams are getting COVID. From the beginning, it seemed that Americans' natural optimism kind of got the best of us, which is that, we weren't in for the long haul. And if you think about it, Andy, this thing, March to now, a vaccine in 8 months, we should be really happy about that. And the reason we're not is because we lost so many people, and we're wondering, did we do the right thing? Have we dealt with this properly? I have to say, though, President Trump's optimism about the vaccine, he was widely ridiculed for it, but it seems that what he predicted has come true.
I do think that one of the great books that will be written after this is the story of how these vaccines were developed and how quickly it happened, and how it kind of, it's like a moon launch or something. I think that's an apt analogy. It was just, an amazing effort by what America does best in this short period of time. And we'll see, of course. But, you have to say that Trump's optimism might have been well placed on this one.
Well,
you think he'll get the credit for it that he deserved?
No, not that's not where we're at right now, and our politics does not work as well as our science. But you think about this, the Moderna, they're talking about 95% effective rate. That's beyond anybody's wildest hopes, and so I just hope we can get this distributed before there's much more suffering. That 250,000. As you know, you read my morning essay. That hit me hard today. That's something we need to try and maintain for another month or 2 or 3, whatever it takes.
Right. Well, so I know that my family, we're taking it seriously. We've canceled plans to have our close family with us on Thanksgiving, which we do every year. It's going to be just my 3 daughters and my wife and I at the dinner table, and hoping that other people do what they can to try to keep this thing under control.
Andy, a wife and 3 daughters sounds like an embarrassment of riches. You're very blessed. I was thinking this morning, President-elect Biden ends his speeches with God bless God bless our troops. And I was feeling that way this morning too. But the troops I was thinking of are the healthcare workers on the front line. So I'd like to wish God's blessing on them. And with that, I guess we'll end. I'm Carl Cannon, Washington Bureau Chief for Real Clear Politics.
And I'm Andrew Walworth, Chief Content Officer, and this has been the Real Clear Politics Takeaway for Thursday, November 19th.